What's going on, everybody? I am back. Chris Classic is back. I wanted to do this at home, but I got a little time for a car vlog today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you also check out C3 Ultimate Wrestling narratives. Now, in life, there are many narratives. As a battle rap fan, their favorite word is narrative. Like, honestly, a lot of people, especially in the battle rap world, they have their own narratives, and sometimes people run with them, and sometimes people don't. With wrestling, I want the best, and I also want people to have their own opinion. Your opinion may be stronger than mine, or my opinion may be stronger than yours. Who knows? I don't mind discussions. I don't mind debates and stuff like that. But sometimes when you feel like your opinion is stronger than somebody else's, and then you become ignorant or you become hard-headed, it is no point to even argue. I have a Twitter account which I do promote a lot of stuff, but I'm rarely on Twitter. I've seen what Twitter has done. I'm not scared of Twitter. I just don't have the time or the tolerance to deal with it. Majority of my debating is on Facebook Live or when I do things on YouTube, because a lot of people have a narrative. Let me just say this right now. If you like a company more than another company, or if you hate a company, okay. But then when somebody says they watch both, and then you get mad at that, go somewhere with that, please. Go somewhere with that. As a person that watches a lot of wrestling companies, that support a lot of wrestling companies and stuff like that, I have my own opinion on some things. I do think a lot of foundation in wrestling needs to come back, but it's a possibility that it may not. Before I say any opinion, I always say these are my opinions. Nobody's asking me to do it. A lot of these narratives that are spread or said around here is that most people just want to shout out. They want the clout. They want people to tag them or get them free tickets to a show. They want them to do things like that. That's why a lot of content creators, they say their stuff, and sometimes it can be the most negative thing. If a wrestler isn't your cup of tea, then just say, okay, well, I'm not really interested in that wrestler. That's it. But then some people go into how they look and stuff like that, and these are guys that may or may have never even wrestled. I just try to have a certain thing of respect or an amount of decency. I'm not the best wrestler, and I'm not everybody's favorite wrestler, and that's fine, and that's cool, or whatever like that. But I could chop it up and talk to people or certain things like that. But I don't really tag people in my videos. A lot of people, we talk about it, we have a discussion, and like I said, I don't always agree with everything that goes on. And sometimes I speak it and sometimes I don't, because everything isn't worth an explanation. You get what I'm saying? But just because something you disagree with doesn't make you more right. And sometimes you may not even have a valid point. You get what I'm saying? This stuff with the narratives and stuff like that. Let's just be honest. Now, this isn't a narrative. This is a truth. Usually when a wrestler leaves the company, they usually have an interview and then they say some of the good and the bad. Big Swole was not the first, and Big Swole was definitely not the last. She will not be the last. That's just what it is. Some companies elevate certain people quicker than they elevate other ones. And I'm not even just talking about a color or a sexual orientation or anything like that. It's just, we know this. A lot of wrestlers know this and stuff like that. Sometimes people leave companies because they want to see a better opportunity. Regardless of how you feel about Big Swole, I bet money that a lot of other people think the same way. There are many content creators and wrestlers have spoken about this, about AEW. They're still a new company. And then, I don't really go with that give it time, because they're doing a whole bunch of stuff that they want to do. Me personally, I don't think Tony Khan should have said what he said, but he said it. But the real is, WWE already has practices that suck butt, which they really do. But man, I could just imagine how y'all would have just threw a lot of stuff at Vince, and Vince would have said any ex-wrestler he had wasn't good enough. My opinion, you know. I think it was some truth to what Swole said. I did, especially when she said there was no structure. But she also came from a good spot. And that's not even just from an AEW standpoint. WWE has been doing stuff like that too for the longest. You know, Braun Strowman said, get these hands. Now, I'm not trying to say that that is something that black people say all the time or something like that. But the way he used it and they allowed him to use it, it was marketable for him and stuff like that. John Cena did You Can't See Me. If you don't remember, Tony Yayo from G-Unit was doing the same thing. And on top of that, the Chain Gang, the original logo, was from G-Unit. So you get what I'm saying? So what she was saying, a majority of it, she wasn't wrong. Even when Jade won the TBS title and she congratulated her, you know, I could say now that more are getting a little bit exposure, but Dark used to be the spot to see some wrestlers lose in minutes. And regardless of how people feel about Swole, her and Diamante had like one of the best matches on Swole when they had the best out of 3 series on Swole, on Dark, I'm sorry. You know, it's one thing when you just, I don't think it was really a narrative. Many people said it. I've had videos where I say, where the black people at? So I've said this, you know, they're starting to get somewhat okay. Like, I knew that, I felt that Jay was going to win that belt. You know, a lot of people think that AEW, Tony switched it up when Swole said what she said. But I think that Jade was just going to win that belt. When Jade beat Thunder Rosa, how she did it, I was like, okay, it's for sure that Jade is going to win it. And then even with the narrative of that, when she won, oh, she's not ready. She's not ready. You know, you'd be surprised how many people had a belt around their waist and they wasn't ready. And they still was flourishing and they still was improving. You'd be surprised. You know, it's just like everybody's opinion and everybody's narrative. The funny thing about all of this is that Jade still calls herself green. So she doesn't care. You know, a lot of the wrestlers there don't care. They're just there to have fun, or they're just there to collect money. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, everybody has an opinion, but sometimes people have that much influence to turn their opinion into a narrative. You get what I'm saying? There's enough wrestling to go around to enjoy it. You know, everyone has an opinion. You know, you don't have to listen to everybody. But then when it's just coming in and just talking out the side of your neck for no reason, or just to do something to hate on somebody, or if you just don't like them, you don't have to speak about them. You know, the world will show you sometimes, man. People will sit there and talk all day about somebody they say they don't like or care for. Sometimes people get a wrong energy to the wrong thing. You get what I'm saying? And that's just how the way the world works sometimes. But with wrestling, it could be just so different. You know, it's just stuff to think about. You know, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. There's a lot of wrestling out there. If your team, whatever team, you can watch it. Just enjoy it. You know, narratives are going to stop. You know, I wish I could say narratives or stop. That there are some informative narratives, and then there's just some narratives that are just pointless, just to divide. This is Chris Classic. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's take it home.